Brian Pound is joining us.
That's nice. I like Brian.
So Bev, your mom all excited about the construction project we're gonna dump in front of her house this summer?
Well, she's lamenting the fact that she'll have to put the top up on her convertible when the construction's going on. So I told her that is the biggest problem she has, then she's in pretty good shape.
And I'm gonna personally stand in front of the tree that your father planted.
Yes,
And that
please do.
it will be the last tree to ever be felled in the town of Westwood, I'll tell you that.
Well, I can't tell you how worried she is about that tree, so.
Good. Yeah, we actually have a little thing we're gonna do with tree protection to make sure that she can sleep at night. But she's been a good sport. It's, it's NAP, so everyone over there is, willing to roll with the punches.
There you go.
Dave, I was waiting on one person from Lowell, said she was coming.
Okay.
Okay, give her another minute.
All right, you let me know when, Justin.
Okay.
In the meantime, Bev can tell us what kind of convertible her mother drives.
A Chrysler Sebring,
Good for her. What color is it, Bev?
red.
All right. Good
Nice.
for her.
Nice.
Everyone knows who's in the red convertible driving around town, that's for sure.
All right, Dave, I think we can get going.
All right, thanks, Justin. Welcome, everybody, to a meeting of the Northern Middlesex Smith Mountain Planning Organization. I'm David Moeller, representing Secretary Jamie Tessler here. Justin, you want to call the roll?
Yes. Okay, so Acting Secretary and CEO of MassDOT, Jamie Tessler.
David Moeller, I'm here.
Okay. MassDOT Highway Division Administrator, Jonathan Gulliver.
That's me, Frank Szynski.
Okay. NIMCOG Chair Andrew Delorier is not here. Lowell City Council Representative to the MPO, Dan Rourke, is not here. LRTA Board Chair, Tom Baumel.
Yeah.
LRTA Advisory Board MPO Representative, Kevin O'Connor.
Present.
NIMCOG MPO Representative, Pat Wojcik.
Here.
Okay, that's everyone.
Thank you, Justin. Can you put the agenda up so we can see what's
Yes.
first on our agenda? Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of February 24th. Can I get a motion and a second from an MPO member to approve the minutes, and please state your name for the record.
So move, Kevin O'Connor.
Second, Pat Wojcik.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Any corrections, changes, questions, or comments? Seeing none, Justin, please call the roll.
Okay, for February 24th minutes approval, David Muller,
Yes.
Frank Szynski,
Yes,
Tom Baumel,
Abstain, I wasn't at the meeting.
Kevin O'Connor,
Yes.
Pat Wojcik.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
What's next? Next up is a status report of the TIP projects under design and construction. Is this Connie, Frank?
It is. It's Connie.
Hey, Connie.
So the Andover Tewksbury Highway Lighting Project is actually at final design. That's been updated. It's going to be advertised on the 27th, this Saturday. The price is up a little bit, less than $100,000 from the last time I reported. The traffic sign replacement on Route 3 from Burlington to Tingsboro, those bids were opened on the 26th. Construction is just beginning. The completion date is October 23rd, 2022. The bids were opened on the interstate preservation on 93 and 495. Mostly in your region, it'll be in Chelmsford on 495, The apparent low bidder is Aggregate Industries. We're still awaiting the contract award and notice to proceed. Dunstable on Main Street, that price is up a little less than $200,000 since the last time I reported that to you. And then, so that's basically the updates on 2021 projects. And then in 2022, Boston Road in Billerica, the 75% designs have come in. That price is up about $200,000 from the last time we reported that. Nashua Road in Dracut, that price is a bit down, about 100%. And let's see, when we get to 2024, the only other changes were Yankee Doodle, that price went down a bit. And then we've got a new ad date on resurfacing in Billerica and Burlington, but that in 2021. Gorham Street in Chelmsford is a 2021 NFA contingency project. The 25% came in. That price is about $300,000 less than previously reported. The only other update I have is that we have a new project in Westford, interstate maintenance on 495.
Thank you,
And
Connie.
I will take any questions.
Thank you. Questions for Connie? Seeing none. Justin, what's next on our agenda?
Okay, open forum.
Opportunity for comments from NPO members, community stakeholders, and the public. So anyone wants to make a comment at this time? Seeing and hearing none. Justin, what's next? Next item on the agenda is tip amendment number 1, potential action to endorse. Justin, is this you?
That is correct. That's me.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So on your screen is a summary of draft federal fiscal year 2021 to 2025 tip amendment 1. And at our February MPO meeting, we presented this amendment and members voted to release this document for a 21-day public comment period, which ended on March 22nd. So to recap, this amendment involves several projects for the LRTA, and the overall gist is the LRTA has received these federal 5339 program grant awards that need to be obligated in federal fiscal year 2021, which ends on September 30th. So the projects listed in this amendment they're actually not being purchased in 2021. It's just the federal portion of each of these projects needs to be obligated. So we're moving the federal portion into 21, and the state matches for these projects remain in their current year of programming, and any kind of purchases will be made in those years. And so with any federal transportation dollars the region receives, MPO needs to program them into the tip. And here we are. So just a quick recap of the amendment. First project listed here, it's a new project. It's being added to the tip. The federal amount program in 21 involves the purchase of automated passenger counters for each vehicle in the LRTA's fixed route fleet, which is a total of 50 vehicles. The total being proposed, $300,000, federal portion in 21, state match in 2022, purchase in 2022. Second piece of the amendment involves replacement of 5 fixed route bus lifts. And currently this is in 22. Proposals move the federal portion in 21. And so the actual cost of this project has decreased as well. Our current programming for the project is at $800,000. The new proposed cost is $300,000, and this is due to the type of lift that they're using, going from a more stationary installed lift to a mobile one, which is much less expensive. And so again, federal in 21, the rest of it in 2022. And the third piece of the amendment, 4 cutaway vans for the LRTA's fixed route fleet. And much like the bus lifts, the proposal is to move that federal piece into 21. And the cost for the purchase of these vans remains the same. It's at $720,000 total. And the fourth and final piece of the amendment is a replacement of 2 hybrid buses. And currently this is programmed in 2023. And let's see here. Sorry, somebody just came in. So this is programmed in 2023. We're moving the federal portion into 2021, the purchase and the state match remaining in 2023. And the total cost for this project has gone up slightly. It's gone up to 1.49 million from its current $1.1 million. So that's the summary. During the public comment period, we received no comments. So I can take any questions. We're really looking today to have the NPO vote to endorse this amendment as proposed.
Thank you, Justin. Any questions for Justin? Seeing none, can I get a motion and a second from a member? And please state your name for the record to approve this as presented.
So move, Tom Baumel.
Second, Pat Wojcik.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Justin, please call the roll.
Okay. To endorse federal fiscal year 2021 to 2025 TIP Amendment 1, David Muller,
Yes.
Frank Szynski,
Yes.
Tom Baumel,
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor,
Yes.
and Pat Wojcik.
Yes.
Okay, carries.
Next item on the agenda is the FY 2022 to 2026 TIP development. This is all you too, Justin, right?
Yes, that's me. All right. So I'm going to mix up the order here a little bit. I'm going to start with transit. So on your screen, spreadsheet showing the list of transit projects proposed by year. And you'll see the projects we just discussed in the TIP amendment showing up here as well. But remember, it's only the state portion. I know it shows the full portion, but it's only the state portion in those years. In addition to that, every year the LRTA applies for and receives operating assistance. So you'll see that in each year of the TIP. Each year of the TIP. In this case, in 2022, because of because of lost revenues due to the pandemic, the LRTA received additional CARES Act funding for operations. And the LRTA actually projects to be able to use that funding that they received through 2024. And you'll see throughout the spreadsheet, you'll see the CARES Act funding in 2023 and in 2024. And then additionally, annual projects that you'll see in every year, the TIP short range transit planning. That's the LRTA's contract with NMMPO to provide planning services, equipment and maintenance, purchasing of parts. These are things that you see in each year of the TIP. The only other project in 2022 is a purchase of a replacement service truck and plow. So in 2023, going down a little bit here, you see in general the annual projects, the maintenance, the operations, the planning, the purchase of parts. And in addition to that, some of the new projects include an upgrade at the Gallagher parking garage to include a new parking system technology to allow credit and debit cards to be used. They'll have to basically redo their entrance into the garage to handle that. It's currently a cash system and a monthly pass system, and they're planning to introduce hourly parking rates as well to Gallagher garage. And so that's in 2023. And in addition to that, replacing of their fueling station, which has met its useful life. So that is in 2023 as well. And in 2024, you see the CARES Act assistance continues. That'll be the projected last year of using that money. And in addition to that, the LRTA is planning to replace one fixed route hybrid bus. The replacement of buses helps maintain the transit asset management plan targets that the NPO has adopted. So that's a good thing. And also in 2024, the LRTA will purchase a new street sweeper. So those are the projects in 24. In 2025, these are all just the general annual projects, including the equipment and maintenance, the purchasing of parts, and the operating assistance and the planning. And you see it again in 2026. The big new project here is the replacement of 6 diesel buses. So you see on these last 2 lines here, you've got actually 2 options. This is actually one purchase of 6 buses with, and they're deciding between either purchasing hybrids or purchasing electric vehicles. And the reason they're both there is the LRTA is going to be part of the state's feasibility study to look into electrifying buses throughout the Commonwealth. And this kind of follows the state's environmental goals and recommendations that first came in the congestion in the Commonwealth report. So basically these 2 projects are sort of tied together. If the decision is to go with the hybrids, the cost will be $4.8 million. If the decision to go with electric, you're going to add an increase to that cost, that 4.8 by 2.5 million, which you see here. So to purchase electric buses, it's going to be about $7.3 million. So I'm going to stop here and ask if there's any questions or comments. I know LRTA is here, or if anyone has anything else to say about these projects.
Thank you, Justin. Any questions from the members or the public?
Oh, yeah, I have a question, Justin, about the 12 million plus from the CARES Act. But then in the subsequent years, it still shows 12 million. So is what you're showing for 22, 23, and 24 just making up for lost revenue? And then after that, it's what is expected revenue?
Pat, hi, this is Allie.
Yeah.
So a portion of the operating, so that total cost, that 12 million throughout the years, that's the total balance of the operating assistance. CARES Act goes toward a portion of that. So that's that 2.8 million in the federal transit other. Sorry, the first 2.7 is the 5307. And then we also have local assessment funding that goes toward that. So the CARES Act is just a piece of that 12 million.
Oh, okay, all right. So it's not expected to be consistent across each of those years. Is that correct?
No, exactly. And so what we kind of base our plan on is as ridership increases and fares increase over the next few years, as people feel more comfortable returning to public transit, that we'll need less CARES Act as we go through. So you'll see the amount decrease slightly through 24.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, so you see that 2.8 million there in 22. It's down to 2.5 in 23 and 1.5 in 24.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? Okay, Justin, go on to the next item.
Okay. Okay, so next on the list, highway programming. In the highway program, there's 2 programs. There's our regional program, which is our targets, and then there's the statewide highway program, which is outside of our targets. So first, we'll look at the state project listings. And there's a couple of notes. First, the Westford Beaverbrook Road Bridge Rehabilitation Project. Initially, in our current TIP, our current 21 to 25 TIP, it is programmed in our targets. Well, the decision was made this year by the state to move it out of our targets and be funded through the statewide bridge program. So that actually it moves from our targets into this category. The cost remains the same. The year of programming remains the same. So it's just basically moving programs. The second change, which was kind of concerning for us to hear, is a project in Lowell, the Pawtucket Falls Overlook, which is currently in our TIP being programmed in 2022, and now we're hearing that it's being moved to 2025. And if you recall, this project does have a tie-in to the VFW Highway Improvement Project, which is currently in 2025 on our targets. So I know Lowell is here, and we'll talk about that in a second. And for, I guess, mainly for Pat's benefit, we talked about this a little bit. Connie talked about the 495 improvements in Chelmsford in her project update. Well, in the current TIP, there's a project programmed for 2025 to do a resurfacing of 495 in Chelmsford, but that project actually got bundled into the 2021 project, which is going to construction. So the project was redundant, and we removed it from the statewide program list. So I'm going to stop here, and I know I'm seeing people may have some comments. Feel free to provide any.
Thank you, Justin. Questions for Justin or MassDOT?
I don't know if this is the appropriate time for me to chime in from the city about our concerns regarding that change. Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
go ahead.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Giovanni Baez-Rose. I work with Chris Hayes on the Pawtucket Falls Overlook project. Chris was unable to join us today because we had another meeting scheduled, and this kind of came a little bit out of nowhere for us, so we didn't really have a ton of time on it. Essentially, we are significantly concerned about the change from being pushed as we anticipated to be in 2022 all the way to 2025. You know, our partner on this project, the National Park Service, also isn't here today, mainly because we literally just didn't have the time to really reach out to people about this dramatic of a change. We have design service funding through the National Park for this project that would expire before this time. So that's problematic for us. You know, it also significantly extends the amount of time MassDOT would have available for review periods to, I think Chris said it would be up to 120 days for every review, which would just continue to significantly drag this out. So, you know, in an effort to have somebody here and jump on this to address it, I was sort of voted in between Chris and I to attend today. But frankly, we just would very much appreciate it either staying as planned in 2022 or just need more time to be able to kind of wrap our brains around what a dramatic change like this would mean for this project. So thank you for giving me a chance to speak.
You're welcome. Frank Shazinski, can you talk to the reason for the change, or you?
No, I'm not really. I caught a little off guard, Dave. Sorry about that. I know I did have a coordination meeting with DCR about 2 weeks ago, just a general meet and greet with some MassDOT folks from District 4 and DCR, just to introduce each other and meet for there's a lot of turnover at DCR. And I know this project did come up, that the VFW Parkway project and the Pawtucket Falls, where DCR was looking to revisit the design, possible road diet. And I had suggested that, again, we reach out to the city of Lowell and the National Park Service and get together a meeting to kind of talk that through. I think both projects were previously at 2023, so we had some time to at least talk about that. So I think a meeting is in order. Like Giovanni said, suggested, I think the district should be involved, possibly DCR and the city in the Park Service.
So Frank,
But I'm not sure why that moved out to 2025.
so can you try to make sure that meeting happens during the time that TIP is being developed? Like, so, we need an answer for the city so that they can, either understand and agree with us or push back on us. So can you take the lead in setting that meeting up?
Yeah, who would I talk about for the statewide funding program that manages that program?
Michael Trepanier.
Okay.
All right, so
Yeah.
anything more on this project or other projects?
I mean, I was told that, that there was an issue of fiscal constraint with the statewide program is one of the reasons. So, and the design issues.
All right, so Michael Trepanier would know the answer to both of those questions.
Yep.
Or-
I'll reach out to Mike.
Other questions or comments?
I saw Andrew Jennings sent a comment in the chat back on, sorry to jump back to the LRTA project, but I just wanted to clarify, because it is a little confusing the way it's listed on there. So in 2026, there's 2 projects that are replacing 6 buses. So the first is replacing with hybrids, and the second project is the battery electric buses. So that project is the cost differential from hybrid to electric, plus the cost of charging infrastructure. So MassDOT instructed us to put the project in that way, again, pending the outcome of the feasibility study. So we want to, from MassDOT's perspective, we are planning to go electric that year. However, if the feasibility study indicates that, we're not a good candidate for whatever reason, it would be easier to just eliminate that differential project and keep the state of good repair replacement of the hybrids themselves. So I just wanted to clarify that for everyone.
So I saw your answer and I thought it was fairly clear in the chat too. So this 2.5 is both the cost differential plus the charging infrastructure.
Yes.
Exactly. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks.
Other questions on the statewide list of projects, that list? Seeing none, Justin, go on to the next item.
Okay. So our regional targets now. And this is the part where I'd like to see, a consensus on which scenario to move forward with. We're providing 4 different scenarios today. So just of what you're seeing, it's kind of hard to see. Let me move this out of the way here. So the first 4 years of the TIP are pretty much set. Each project in 2022 through 2025 is on pace to meet their current advertisement date and be funded for construction on time. So each of these scenarios, the first 4 years are not going to change. And just to recap, 2022, we have Drake-It, improvements on Nashua Road, and in the first year of the rehab of Boston Road and Billerica. In 2023, we have the second year of rehab of Boston Road and Billerica. The 2024, we have the rehabilitation of Boston Road in Westford. And in 2025, we have the VFW highway reconstruction in Lowell. So the first 4 years are set. So what's next is what do we do with 2026? There's several potential projects to include. I know that's 5 years away, and the program is most likely going to change. Excuse me. So as designs progress, things are going to change. But I want to have kind of an informed sort of decision on how we program this last year, the TIP. And so I'll go through each of these scenarios, and each one sort of takes a slightly different approach to programming. And I just want to hear what people think, and maybe we can get a vote of which scenario to move forward with as we develop the TIP. So scenario one, the focus on 2026, we're focusing on the project that's currently furthest along in design, and a project that can move quickly through the design process and remain under our target allocation. So scenario one, Billerica intersection improvements at Boston Road, Lexington Street, and Black Valley Road. This is currently at 25% design. Design is progressing actually quite rapidly. So we're really confident it can be in 2026. The second project is the traffic signal installation at Route 110 and 495. That's a fairly low cost project, and both of them can go into the TIP and stay in our target. And actually in this scenario, there's about $2.65 million of target remaining. Of course, as everyone knows, the project costs increase as design progresses. So, odds are it's going to be eaten up. So that's scenario one, Boston, Billerica, Boston, Lexington, Glad Valley, and Chelmsford signal installation, Route 110 and 495. So scenario two focuses on the highest rated project. So sort of taking a step back, NPO staff and MassDOT, we work together to evaluate each TIP eligible project and give it a score based on a number of criteria. And I think I sent out a summary of the scores and the criteria with the announcement last week. And these include different kind of categories: facility improvements, infrastructure, congestion, safety, local support for the project, effect on Title VI environmental justice, communities, economic effects, air quality, water quality, things of that nature. So we add all that up, and this is what we call the TEC score, or Transportation Evaluation Criteria score, and you see that in the spreadsheet here. So with that scoring, the highest rated 2026 TIP eligible project was actually in Lowell, the Church Street two-way conversion project, but that project's kind of on hold for now because the city is reassessing the viability of this project. I know that it's not really progressing at this point, so we kind of want to focus on projects that are moving along in design. So we went with the second highest scored project for this scenario, and that's in Westford, Route 110, Littleton Road improvements between Powers Road and Minet's Corner. So scenario two programs that. With that, you have approximately just under $800,000 in target remaining. So if we go that route, that's what it's going to be. So scenario three programs the Chelmsford Route 110 improvement project in 2026, and this is similarly rated to the Westford project. It's just under it. But the issue here with Chelmsford, with this project, is the cost estimate exceeds our targets. And with that, we would have to program this over 2 years of the tip. So this scenario involves a commitment from the NPO to program Chelmsford in 2026 and an additional, looks like, I mean, at this point, $3.1 million in 2027, which is not part of this tip, but we would have to commit to programming it that way. And the last scenario is kind of a hybrid. We wanted to, since Chelmsford is being programmed over 2 years, we figured we'd look at it and try to program a project that the project that's moved along the furthest in design at this point, which is the Billerica intersection at Boston Road, Lexington Street, and Glad Valley Road project. So we're able to put both of those into 2027, but you need to commit. At this point, you need to commit nearly $8.7 million in 2027 for the Chelmsford Street project. So I know these are the 4 scenarios. I know the focus on an out year, and things will change between now and then, and we'll definitely look at it again at this point next year. Basically, the allocation, it's a projection. Targets change, cost estimates change. It's all a projection. So basically, the goal here today is just to hear from the NPO what their preferences are, and maybe get a vote of the NPO on a specific scenario to move forward with as we develop the tip.
Thank you, Justin. Comments, questions from the members?
So I'll give my opinion. Knowing about the projects in Chelmsford better than the others, I would be much in favor of either scenario 3 or 4 that has the Chelmsford improvements on Route 110. That's a project that I believe NMCOG helped us do the initial design on. It must be close to 10 years ago now, and it just seems like it keeps getting pushed further and further out in the tip. And if every project that spanned fiscal years were not considered, then it would never be considered. So I would definitely advocate for either 3 or 4.
Others?
Hey, this is Andrew. Justin, at our last NMCOG meeting, you were able to sort of like pierce the veil a little bit on the planning, on the how, because there's a number of projects who are around that less than 25% design perspective. Is there any, can you add, just for everyone's knowledge, like the differential between those? Because like with the Glad Valley project, that's, like you said, is well on its way versus other ones, because that might help. Because you added a lot of caveats and like things could change, things can change. Obviously, projects that are less than 25% probably have more opportunity for that change. So can you add some more of the color that you did the other night?
So basically, as projects go through the design process, you receive new cost estimates. The further along in design, the more we know about the project. So these projects that are at pre 25% design, they range from concept to very preliminary information on the project. But the projects that we look at, I mean, it's 5 years in the future. So, we're looking at projects that are going to be early on in design. So, one of the, I want to focus on projects that are able to move through the design process quickly. And, Billerica is at 25% design. The project's moving forward. We know that. Some of these others, like the Church Street two-way conversion, there, 2 years ago, this project was going to move forward, but it hasn't moved at all. So, things change until you really get an idea of which projects are moving forward. So.
Other questions, comments? So Pat has suggested that, because there's a preliminary vote to allow staff to go develop a draft tip, which we'll then vote on the next meeting. Staff has suggested Pat has suggested that we try to program the Chelmsford project. If there's no objection to that, there's only now 2 scenarios still on the table. If there's an objection, just please let me know. But then there's two scenarios on the table. There's this one, which would program the Billerica project in 26, as well as the difference between the target and whatever the Billerica project is into the Chelmsford project, and tying up money again in 27 for the remainder of the Chelmsford project. Or there's just programming all of the money to Chelmsford in 26 and tying up less money in 27. Right, Justin?
That's correct. And,
So-
just to point out that the costs are, the projects are early on in design. The costs are going to go up.
Right. Well, we also don't know yet, for example, on the $12 million Chelmsford project, there's at least a theoretical possibility that it could be, when it's fully designed, maybe a 3 construction season project, in which case it could be spread out over 3 years of the tip. We don't know that yet because it's pre-25.
Right.
So for MassDOT's purposes, I think our preference, and again, we're perfectly okay being outvoted, would be to keep put the Billerica project in. To Justin's point, it is actually moving along. It's at 25%. Again, 100% agree with Justin that a 25% design cost is not necessarily 100% design cost, but a 25% design cost is at least more realistic than a pre-25% design cost. And I'd like to reward towns for keeping their project moving. So if no one else has a preference, MassDOT's preference would be to program in 26 the Chelmsford, the Billerica project, and then whatever the difference is for the Chelmsford project, always with the knowledge that we're making a commitment to the next year of the Chelmsford project in FY 27.
This is Andrew. I would support that.
Any other questions or comments? Any concerns? Anybody want to make a motion one way or the other?
I can make that motion if that's allowed.
It is.
Thank you, Justin. So there's a motion to program the one you see on the screen as the FY 26 program. And again, this is to authorize staff to go off and develop the tip, and we'll take another vote on this next month. Basically, what would show up in FY 26 would be full funding of Billerica and partial funding of Chelmsford. But Chelmsford was always going to have to be partially funded because there's not enough money in FY 26 to fund all of Chelmsford. So there's a motion. Is there a second?
This is Pat Wojcik. I'll make a second.
Motion having been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Justin, can you call the roll?
Okay. Dave Muller,
Yes.
Frank Szynski,
Yes.
Andrew Delarier,
Yes.
Tom Bummel,
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor,
Yes.
and Pat Wojcik.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Now, Justin, back to the statewide list.
Yeah,
For now, you should be assuming that the project in red, for your purposes, put it in 25, but you should also, Frank, make sure Justin's invited to the meeting.
Yes.
On this project, and then if that meeting changes, Justin, change our tip to reflect what that meeting's outcome is, okay?
okay, yeah. Will do.
What I was thinking of doing, Justin, was inviting Mike Trepanier to our Monday meeting, that we're going to be meeting with the city of Lowell in Northern Middlesex and District 4 to have a conversation about tip programming in the Lowell projects and the status.
Okay,
If he can attend that, I think that would be really helpful. If not, we'll reschedule something for later in the week. That's my plan anyway.
All right, and then the city should.
that works.
The city should try to get federal parks people there too, if they can. All right, Justin, what's next on our agenda?
Okay.
Next up is the Northern Middlesex NPO MOU update. Justin?
Yep. Okay. All right, I'll be quick. So to recap, this is an agreement between NMCOG, the LRTA, and MassDOT, three member agencies of the NPO, who are tasked with conducting the transportation planning process for the region. And this document outlines procedures, regulations, responsibilities of each agency and the NPO, and to conduct the transportation planning process. It was last updated in 2011, and our recent federal certification review findings listed this update as a corrective action. So at our last meeting, I presented the draft MOU document and I put it out to the members to review and provide any further comments that they may have had on the draft. We have not received any new comments. So I basically updated the date of NPO endorsement to today and sent out the final version with the meeting announcement last week. And if Federal Highway or FTA would like to add anything, I just would like to get a vote of the NPO to endorse this update as presented.
Thank you, Justin. Are there any comments from the members or from FTA or FHWA?
Just acknowledging no comments here at Federal Highway.
Thanks, Chris. Hearing none, can I get a motion in a second to approve endorsement? And then after we approve it, if it does get approved, Justin will figure out how to get it to each of us to sign. For those of us who have to sign.
I'll make that motion. Tom Bommel. I'll make that motion, Tom Bommel.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Kevin O'Connor.
Justin, please call the roll.
Okay, Dave Muller,
Yes.
Frank Szynski,
Yes.
Andrew Delarier,
Yes.
Tom Bubble,
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor,
Yes.
and Pat Wojcik.
Yes.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, I was going to ask how we should be signing this.
Yeah, so we can do DocuSign, or we can also do, why don't you send it to the other two agencies first and then get it to me and I'll sign it, or the secretary will sign it, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
All right. All right, what's next on our agenda?
Other business.
Other business. Does anyone have any other business to bring before the NPO at this time? Justin, I believe our next meeting is the 28th. Is that right?
That will be April 28th.
All right. And at that meeting, we will be voting out the TIP. Right. And hopefully we'll have a final decision on the project in Lowell. No other business coming before the NPO at this time. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn? And please state your name for the record.
I will just motion to adjourn.
Second, Tom Bommel.
Motion has been made and seconded. Without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin. Yes. See you
tomorrow.
All right, pal.